You are now listening to the Fighting Back Podcast, and here's your host, Jessica Travis. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Fighting Back Podcast. It's Patricio, and I am joined by Jessica Travis. How you doing today, Jessica?
Wonderful.
On this episode, we are doing a part 2. Can't believe we're doing part 2s now.
Part 2.
We are growing. So this one is New Law Who Dis Part 2, a continuation of new laws here in the state of Florida that you might not be aware of. So, Jessica, tell us about some new laws that are here in the state of Florida.
Well, the rest of these new laws we're going to be talking about really are dealing with either animal cruelty or cruelty to humans and sexual crimes.
Okay.
So this is kind of a deep episode. Just a little bit of a disclaimer. There may be some things that are triggering on this one, so we got some sensitive content we're talking about. Listener
discretion advised.
Exactly.
All right. So what's the first one we're going to talk about?
So when we're talking about animal cruelties, we've got two different laws that came into effect.
Okay.
So the first one we have is the Animal Cruelty Database. Mm-hmm. This is HB 255. And so this one not only establishes harsher penalties for animal cruelty. So those animal cruelty, which is torturing animals and things like that, mm-hmm. It establishes that you can go to prison for longer for them. But what it also does, which I think is interesting and I want people to be aware of, is that it's now created a database, a searchable database.
Oh.
So right now for sexual offenders, we have a database where you can look up anybody who's on a sexual offender database and see who the sexual offenders are in your area and the state, things like that. So what this law did is it actually created a searchable database now for anybody who's been convicted of animal cruelty.
Oh.
Similar to that of the sexual offenders.
Okay.
So, obviously this raises some privacy concerns with individuals who have been convicted of animal cruelty. There's some reputation issues that go along with it. But now there is a database that will be beginning as of January 1st, 2026. The database will be active. That allows people to search the database for anybody who has been convicted of animal cruelty. So
that one, I could see the break in privacy right there, but two, also, I mean, it kind of helps people who are trying to purchase animals for the negative reasons and things like that. So
right.
that's always a good thing right there. You know, love the animals.
So the second thing is SB 150, and it really relates to chaining up animals.
Okay.
And this law has been dubbed Trooper's Law, but it really came into place after the last hurricane, where there was an abandoned dog that was found tied to a fence along I-75 ahead of the hurricane coming in.
Oh.
The animal was found with water and not a good situation, obviously, for a hurricane to come through and there's a dog chained to a fence.
Yeah, no.
So because of that, this law came into effect. And it basically makes it a felony to abandon an animal while it's chained up during a natural disaster. Right? So if you have an animal that is outdoors, that is currently chained up, and you're deciding that you're evacuating for a hurricane or any other natural disaster that may come along, mm-hmm. if you leave that animal chained up during that natural disaster, you could be charged with a felony and go to prison for up to 5 years. So it is a very serious offense. It only applies, according to this rule, for natural disasters. It only applies if the dog was, or the animal was chained up during this disaster. So it is pretty specific in what it punishes. But it is something to be aware of, that, you know, a person could be looking at 5 years in prison for not taking the dog with them or unchaining the dog during these natural disasters.
I fortunately have never been in living here in Florida, I've never been in a situation where we've had to evacuate. You know, right. we've knock on wood on that one, but I've had family members before that have had to evacuate, and yeah, they're putting their cats in the crates, the dogs in the car. They're figuring out how they're going to do it. But like, yeah, don't leave your pets behind, folks. Come on.
Yeah.
What's the next one you got for us?
So the next one we're going to be kind of transitioning over, and we have a few new laws that are in effect that have to do with some of our sexual crimes.
Okay.
Right? So the first one, SB 1804, has to do with human trafficking. And so it applies to human trafficking of individuals who are under 12 or people who are mentally defective. This crime makes human trafficking of those more vulnerable individuals a capital offense.
Oh, it wasn't beforehand. I take it
wasn't before.
Okay.
And what that means in Florida, a capital felony means that if you're found guilty, can result in either a mandatory life sentence or the death penalty.
Wow.
So Florida is a death penalty state. So if you are found guilty of a capital felony, you can be sentenced to death. So in these human trafficking cases,
I know for a fact that Florida Florida itself and Orlando is pretty high up there with the human trafficking statistics.
we are. I don't know the specific statistics, but we are pretty high up in them. Mm-hmm. But now those human trafficking offenses could result in death. So definitely something serious to be aware of.
All right. What is the next one you got for us?
So the next one is sexual cyber harassment and sexual images.
Okay.
So HB 1451 enhances the penalties for sexual cyber harassment. So sexual cyber harassment is harassing somebody, kind of breaking down the term, is harassment of somebody using the internet or some other type of cyber means, mm-hmm. and doing so in a sexual way. Now, typically, most often what this happens, or how it happens, sexual cyber harassment, is when an intimate partner or an ex-intimate partner will release online intimate photos of somebody for the purpose of harassing them. So normally you see these situations when an ex-partner will send those intimate photos to the person's new boyfriend or to the parents or to the pastor, or release them on the internet for everybody to see. And the purpose of these photos releasing everything is to harass the person, and the photos are of a sexual nature, sexual content, in a way that would really cause them that emotional distress.
We actually talked about one case specifically here.
We did, yes.
Trying to remember specific. Moving on. Sorry about that. Next one you got for us.
So with this, they enhance the penalty now, making it a third-degree felony. Ooh. Instead of a misdemeanor now, if it's done for financial gain.
Okay, so like blackmail, extortion, things like that.
Blackmail, things like that. Also, the law allowed now the offenders, the victims, to sue the offenders for damages.
Oh.
So now there is a civil remedy that's in place where if somebody is distributing these photos for sexual cyber harassment purposes, that victim, that person who is in the photos, who's causing those damages, can sue the other person.
Okay.
That's helpful.
Well, that's good to know right there. And then in regards to sexual images, the next one, right?
Yeah, so the last one, HB 757, sexual images, really prohibits the possession of a lewd and lascivious image with the intent to promote it. So that's really somebody knowingly soliciting child pornography. It also criminalizes the deepfake pornography. So have you heard of deepfake pornography?
Yes, the development with utilizing AI.
Correct. So creation of this really fake pornography that looks like somebody, that deepfake pornography, possession, solicitation of it, generation of that deepfake pornography now is a felony, punishable by up to 5 years. And the law also allows victims of this deep fake pornography, so people whose faces are used in this AI generated or something like that, they now have a civil remedy to sue the offender for that.
AI has been getting better and better over the last few years, actually the last few months. I mean, the development has just been incredible. There are certain videos that I see on TikTok and just social media that make me, wait, is that real? That can't be real. Like there was one with Mr. Rogers and Tupac I was telling you about the other day.
I saw that one.
I can't even fathom how that's going to be utilized in a negative sense, in a sexual. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is way too much right there. But no, these laws are in place to help the individuals, to help the law-abiding citizens. And anything else you want to add to this as we're wrapping up?
I would just say to be aware of the laws, that these things are criminal offenses. If it's a situation that you're ever arrested for something, I would recommend the first thing to do is reach out to us at Fighter Law, to see if we can assist. If you are a victim of any of this cyber sexual harassment or deep fake pornography, give us a call as well. We can talk to you about your legal remedies, injunctions, civil remedies, and things like that. So,
407-344-4837. With that being said, thank you so much, Jessica, for your time and your knowledge, and we will see you guys later.
Have a great day.
Thank you so much for listening. If you found this episode helpful or informative, don't forget to follow us on social media and share this podcast with your friends. Like, follow, subscribe so you never miss a show, and help others know their rights by spreading the word. Your support helps us keep fighting back. The information provided in the Fighting Back podcast is for general informational purposes only and is not intended as legal advice. Every case is unique and should be reviewed by a qualified attorney who can provide guidance based on the specific facts and circumstances of your case. Listening to this podcast does not create an attorney-client relationship with Fighter Law or any of its attorneys. If you are facing any legal issue, we strongly encourage you to consult with a licensed attorney directly.